Well, AJ, I've kept a list of the most of the things I've watched these last couple of months, so I figured
Oh,
I'd go
nice.
through
Yeah.
it. So number one, it's sad, but I finished my rewatch of Becker. I watched all those DVDs, and I
You're a
enjoyed myself
Beckerhead.
thoroughly. Yes, Becker heads forever. I think the last time we talked about normal television, like I was one episode away from finishing season 3 of Only Murders in the Building. So I
Mhm.
finished that. Very good. I was a little off on the murder. I was on the right track, but I'll give myself like a half a point, but I didn't quite
Okay.
get there. Uh,
Who was it? You can. Do you want to spoil it?
I don't want to spoil it in case anybody
Okay.
watching cares. Um, but they did also like um, what they've been doing is like each season will end with another murder that sets up like the next season.
Hmm.
And so they did that again, and I'm intrigued. It was a good cliffhanger, so I'm
Okay.
definitely up for. Like anyone who's into murder mysteries like me, you should be watching Only Murders in the Building. It's very good.
Mhm.
So AJ, I feel like I'm one of the last people on Earth that finally got around to watching The Last of Us. Like when it was going,
Okay.
like I saw so much stuff online, it just seemed like everybody was watching it, and I was like, I played the game, I could wait. And the thing is, if you played the first Last of Us game, like you basically you won't be surprised by this series. Like you'll know all the basic beats of what happens. But that being
Okay.
said, they did it very well. So like I would say, even if you've played the game, like you can totally watch this and still get enjoyment out of it.
It's been so long since I played that game that I pretty much forgot everything anyway. So it'd
Well,
be
there you
brand new to
go.
me. Yeah.
There you go. On HBO, I also watched the second and unfortunately last season. It's not going to be renewed of their like Perry Mason show.
Okay.
It's like the origin, the dark origin of Perry Mason you never knew about.
Oh boy.
But no, it's just
His parents both die.
it's just a good like crime noir from that like old Hollywood period, and like it's just right up my alley. I enjoy that kind of stuff
Okay.
a lot. So highly recommend. I wish it was renewed for another season, but it doesn't end like on a cliffhanger or anything. So if anyone's worried about that, you don't have to worry about that. You can totally watch it.
Gotcha.
I also I watched the third and I think final season of that Aquafina show, Nora from Queens, on
Okay.
HBO.
Hmm.
And it's just a super silly show. I like Aquafina, and
Hmm.
it's a very funny, quirky show.
All right.
So if you're just into want something quick and like funny,
Hmm.
there's like short episodes. I had fun with it. Also, speaking of Aquafina on Hulu, there's a movie called Quiz Lady, which
Hmm.
is a comedy with her, where basically like I think her mom like got caught up with the mob or something, and so she had to she ends up having to like go on this Jeopardy type game to try to win money and save her mom, and like she
Okay.
has this whole road trip with her sister who's like the complete opposite of the way she is, and
Mm.
it's a I would say it's necessary watching, but if you're just like in the mood for like an hour and a half like easy breezy comedy, you could do a lot worse. um AJ, do you ever have you watched any of the James Bond movies?
No, never.
Never. So
No.
I didn't like I had seen pieces and parts of. I never watched a full one until like the Daniel Craig, like the most recent movies,
Yeah.
and those are pretty good. Like I could
Mhm.
definitely recommend those, but like I've kind of wanted to go back and watch the older ones, like starting with like the Sean Connery ones. And I've
Mhm.
watched like about 3 of them in the past. So I watched one more of those called Thunderball, and I gotta
Mhm.
say, not very good.
Mhm.
Like
It's a
some
James
of
Bond movie called Thunderball?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
But like it's very weird because like a lot of it takes place like underwater, and like the whole like final act is like this big like underwater fight of like guys in like
Oh,
scuba
it's like
gear.
they're so slow, and it's just
Right. So it's just like this big slow motion fight. I'm like, this was a terrible idea for like an ending.
yeah. Like,
And then
how hard does a punch hurt underwater?
exactly. And like and then the weird thing is in other parts of the movie, not where they're underwater, which would maybe make more sense, but other parts of the movie, they like do that thing you sometimes see in old movies where they like speed up the tape and fast forward just so it looks like things are happening more
Oh yeah,
quickly.
okay,
But
yeah.
like, there's this part on the boat again towards the end where like they speed up the tape and it just looks like they're going like 90 miles an hour, but they're really not, and it looks terrible. And I'm like, oh, why did they make these choices? Um, so yeah, I a couple of the other Sean Connery Bond movies I liked, definitely liked more than this,
Mhm.
but none as much as the Daniel Craig movie so far.
Okay.
Also on HBO, I finished Doom Patrol, so that's all wrapped up.
Mhm.
Very good show. I will say they made a choice of ending on a very sad note, which I thought was a
Oh
little
really?
weird since most of the show is
Uh-huh.
like kind of funny, but still very good. A very good show. Oh, I just started. I haven't. Well, I'm actually about 3/4 of the way through it. Did you watch the show Justified back in the day?
Yeah.
It's a FX show.
Mhm.
So this year they did a like a mini series that takes place like 15 years after the original Justified, called
Mhm.
Justified City Primeval,
Mhm.
and I'm really liking it so far. I think I only actually got like 2 episodes left, so I can't like totally put my stamp of approval on it, but so far it's been very good.
Okay.
One thing I will say though, you know, you ever watch like one of those sitcoms where it's like, you know, kind of a schlubby dude and he's like with like a super hot wife where you're like, I know in real life he didn't get that hot wife, you know,
Yeah.
or something like that. This
Mhm.
almost had the opposite thing where Timothy Oliphant's like love interest in this show. I'm like, there's no way a hunky guy like him would ever go for this.
Oh
It's like this,
really?
like, yeah, it's like this middle-aged, overweight, not very attractive woman, and I'm like, I was like, he's too hunky for her. Like, I could never believe
Yeah.
they're together. um, let's see. I also, oh, my stupid screen here has. I also just because it's so me. You know, sometimes you have all these services and you're like, oh, there's so many new shows I should be watching. But every once in a
Mhm.
while, you just go back to something comfortable. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've been watching. I went back to like the early seasons of the original CSI just
Mhm.
because I really like. Again, I like murder mysteries. And I know it's a very like procedural show, which some people don't really like. But still, I like it. Good murder mysteries. You get a little bit of the science stuff mixed in there. It's just, I don't know. It's a fun show. I will say,
Mhm.
eventually, once the cast changes, like probably like I don't know, 6 seasons in or something, it does get not very good. Like
Okay.
CSI eventually does go off a cliff. But like the
Mhm.
early episode or early seasons with the original cast, they're pretty dang strong, I think.
Okay.
Um, I also on HBO they have all those like animated like DC like features that are about like I don't know like an hour and a half, hour and 20 minutes a piece. You know,
Yeah.
so I watched. There's one called Injustice, which there's also they made a video game adaptation of it. It's a
It's
whole
like where
comic.
Superman becomes evil, basically.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
I watched that. It was decent. It was decent.
Okay.
Um, oh, AJ, I was wondering. Okay, have you watched the Madam Web trailer?
Isn't that Sony? I
It
just
is.
I'm not even excited about it. I think Dakota Johnson's in it or something.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not
Yeah.
excited about it, but you should watch it just so you
Uh-huh.
can be like, "Ooh, yeah, it's Sony again." Man,
Are
it looks so terrible. Again, like
they money laundering over there? Like, what's going on? Like,
I don't know. I think both this and Craven are coming out next year, and I know they're working on Venom 3, so there's a chance that might come out too. And I'm just not excited for any of these. They're all
no,
just terrible.
no, it's
But yeah, you
bad.
should watch this trailer just for a laugh. It's It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
Alright.
Just
I'll check it out.
some of the lines in it are really. They seem like first takes, kind of. You know what I mean?
Mm,
So
okay.
maybe they the final draft of the movie will be better, but yeah, it
Mm,
doesn't look good. And then the only other thing on my list is video game wise. It went on sale, so I've been playing that Hogwarts Legacy game that's like in the Harry Potter universe.
oh yeah.
Um, which I don't know if I can render a verdict on it yet. My opinion so far is I think it's a decent game,
Mm,
but it's a little rough around the edges. I think like if they well they'll almost certainly make a sequel because I think this is one of the best selling games of the year.
yeah.
But I think if they concentrate on what worked here and kind of smooth out the edges of what didn't work, they could make a pretty good game. I think atmospherically, it's pretty cool. Like the castle, Hogwarts Castle, and stuff looks pretty cool. But it's
Mm,
just I don't know the combat. I think both the combat and um, some of the exploration stuff could use some work. It's I don't know. It's uh, I've run it, and also the like a few of the puzzle solving things were a little annoying. So there's some things they need to work the kinks out of, but like definitely like atmospherically, I think they got it down pretty good visually. So
okay.
I for um a Black Friday sale, they finally had God of War Ragnarok on sale. So I did buy it, AJ, but I
Okay.
probably won't
How
get
much you
to it
get it
for.
for?
I want to say it was like $40 or something.
All right.
So I will get to it eventually, but I'll probably try to force myself to beat this Hogwarts game first.
I
but
couldn't even get Ragnarok. I've played, seen the whole storyline over and over again now. It's like pointless for me.
but you can play it for the first time, AJ.
Yeah.
Although I think, um, I mean, the story it probably is the one of the bigger selling points of that franchise.
Right. Yeah.
Now, not that the gameplay is bad by any means.
Right.